Alarm NBA DFS show with Jon Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook preview show. We're looking at the four-game Tuesday main slate. We've got four teams on back-to-backs for this slate. Denver, Dallas, Sacramento, Utah on back-to-backs here for this four-gamer. We have some injury news as well. Steph Curry ruled out already. He's going to miss at least the next couple of weeks with his ankle sprain there. More injury news certainly to follow, as we always have to worry with Golden State and how their rotations are going to go early on in this season here. But like I said, four games, starts at 7:30. We're looking at the DraftKings main slate. The Monday slate was Paolo Banchero, absolutely career best performances. Wemby had a good night. Jokic had a good night in overtime. Luka did not. Tatum did not. All in all, the value all came through. Larry Nance 10x'd. Roddy had a good day. So depending if you put the pieces of the puzzle together correctly, probably wasn't too bad of a slate here, James.
Yeah.
James a little sour after the Yankees losing.
Don't need a rehash. Let's just move on to basketball.
Four games, point guard. We'll start off here. Luka Doncic is your top price guy, 11.5. De'Aaron Fox, 8,500 there. Kyrie McCollum, you know the drill. What's the top guys we're looking at here?
I mean, Luka is naturally going to go for 80 in a terrible spot against a tough defense. After being terrible the night prior, that's just how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
You can always play Luka even in a tough spot. You'll probably get him at lower ownership, knowing it's a back-to-back. Fox on a back-to-back. He looks really good with this new look offense. The offense looks good. The defense for the Kings does not. They are currently up a sizable amount on Portland. We'll see if they have to play the fourth quarter. If it stays around 12, they will. So, we'll get the Kings full capacity on a back-to-back. Kyrie looked really good on the Monday slate. A lot of minutes, really productive. Still underpriced. So, you can get to Kyrie. McCollum has looked really good as the primary point guard for this team. Not that he's doing many point guard things, but he is their starting point guard right now. 27, 4, 3, and 4 steals. The 4 steals back-to-back games, that's kind of going to just come to an end eventually, and then we need the scoring to stay there, but he's fine against Golden State.
Was it Anthony Edwards last year that had that crazy run of steals? I think it was.
I think Edwards was 2 years ago.
Okay.
Might have also been last year. I don't know.
Right. There's a run. McCollum hitting threes too now, certainly helping out the scoring for him. Murray had the OT game, played 40 minutes. Are we at all worried about any Denver here back-to-back off an overtime?
I don't know. Maybe. Okay. I mean, we've seen teams limit guys. We've also just seen them full bore second night of a back-to-back. Good luck out there. Sure. I mean, that's kind of what Atlanta did today. Jalen Johnson, 39 minutes. Trae Young, 36. Daniels, 36 on the second leg. So back-to-back. So maybe because there was overtime and now it's Jokic, 44 minutes. Murray, 40 minutes. Aaron Gordon, 42 minutes. Michael Porter, 40 minutes.
And traveling, right? Going from Toronto now to Brooklyn. It's not a long flight, obviously, but the whole process of traveling, and all that other stuff. So curious. We'll see if maybe we get a midday questionable pop in or something like that. Ben Simmons out. We assume Nick Claxton then just removes back into the starting lineup. Schroeder's been playing a lot of minutes as it is. He's been really good. Now he has that matchup against Denver. Denver defensively has not been really good this season. So certainly could be a good spot for Dennis Schroeder here at 6K. What do we think happens at Golden State? Again, no Steph Curry. Do we think we see and no DeAnthony Melton in this game? So do we think we see Podziemski move into the starting lineup here?
Yeah, Brandon Podziemski should probably play more, but it's still not a comfortable situation because still at the end of the day, Steve Kerr was playing 12 guys. So he's going from 12, as a strength is what they look at it like, right? Like I have 12 guys.
Yeah.
I'm, more equipped for this, but now we have 10. They can still play 10. After Curry left the game, they went to Melton, of course. So like it doesn't help us at all rotationally on who
Yeah.
they're gonna play. I can say that they closed the game. Pajemski played the final 16:32 of that game. Closed the game, right?
Yep.
A close one. So if you look at that, yeah, I mean that's probably the direction they go because it's not like they could have just went to Melton. He's also out. So
Right.
it's likely you see Pajemski start. I think that's the safest bet. You could always see them do something weird with like Gary Payton, but I'd assume it's Pajemski in the start.
Sure.
And he'll be if he's starting at 49, he'll be
super chalk on a small slate. Shooting guard Anthony Edwards is 89. Brandon Ingram is 81. Cam Thomas still is continuing to be a flamethrower. He's $7,700. They had a bunch of guys we've discussed already. Talk to me about Edwards, Ingram, and Thomas here.
Yeah, I mean, Ant's gonna make shots eventually. He hasn't.
Yeah.
3 games. He hasn't really made a lot of shots, and you've pointed out a couple times he's taken a lot of threes.
The threes are actually been the strongest part.
The threes are going in. The threes are going in. Nothing else is going in, and that's kind of a surprise. He's not taking a lot of free throws. And maybe this is just like what we're getting he wants to work on earlier in the year, right? Like I want to take more threes. That's what I'm going to work on in game. And the peripheral stats have been fine, but he's also not going to shoot 41% for the year. So once we get that game where Ant's making everything, well, he's going to blow up. So love 8,900. Ingram with new eligibility is a little bit interesting.
Yeah.
He has been just small forward. I mean, 2 really tough shooting nights against Portland. Really good opening night. All the peripheral stuff has been amazing.
Yeah.
14 rebounds, assists in one game, 12 in the other with the block and 2 steals. That's been great. Just the scoring was a little off in Portland. 17 shots is great. He has a high usage rate without DeJounte Murray and like the guys that are also either not on the team anymore or hurt. So no problem getting Ingram like the eligibility. You mentioned Cam Thomas has been great. This feels eerily similar to the start of the year that he had last year, where he was just like scoring a ton early on.
Yeah.
Brooklyn got their first win. And if they're playing one Denver who just went into overtime, I mean, it's gonna be a tough guard for them.
Yeah.
Having to defend Cam Thomas over 40 minutes. I mean, he is relentless offensively.
Yeah, he's going to be one of my favorite plays, I think, of the slate here. Again, this guy could legit average 30 a night for a bad Brooklyn team this year. We see that all the time. Like guys that are just pure volume shooters, go out there on bad teams and just light it up. That could definitely be Cam Thomas. So what I'd like to see even more, in the past, he's only been scoring 5, 6, and 5 rebounds. You're getting a couple assists, and you have 2 games and 2 or more steals. So if he's going to start really filling out the stat sheet, it's only going to give him, like you said, he's averaging 45 fantasy points a night at $7,700. That's a ridiculous point per dollar value that we're getting on him right now. And we'll see if it's got to rise sooner rather than later if that's the way he's going to be playing. Utah is going to be interesting, right? Because their rotations have sort of been in the minutes that we've seen these guys plays have kind of been iffy, and now they're on a back-to-back here. So I don't know what to do with Sexton and Clarkson. 64, Clarkson's 53, good pricing for what their ceilings can be. Good matchup against Sacramento, not a great defensive team here. But would you trust either of them in your lineups?
I mean, I like the Clarkson price more.
Yeah.
But, I obviously like if Sexton went 9 for 11 from the floor and still only played 20 minutes.
Right. Like
what does he have to do? Like, that's just, what do you have to do at that point? I mean, it's clear that Will Hardy has decided, okay, there was a reason why before the injury Taylor Hendricks suffered, why he was starting, right? Development. Yeah. There's a reason why Keontae George, no matter what, 6 for 18, 36 minutes, development. Like, it is a development year. Clearly, they're going to play Markkanen, whatever he wants. And then everyone else, if you're not a young developing player, get out of my rotation kind of, or just like
they've been playing Cody Williams, their first round pick this year, right? He played 16 minutes tonight. He played 19 on the opener. Obviously got 25 in that blowout. with Hendricks, again, don't go look what happened to him, but with that, he's going to be out for the year now. We think John Collins, right? But could slide into that spot, but it feels more likely they're going to go, with Cody Williams, or they'll go with small ball lineups where Clarkson's getting a bunch of run. They go 3 guards. So yeah, I kind of in agreement with you. It's going to be very interesting to say, where do they decide to go with their lineup moving forward here.
Preference is Clarkson, if you're asking me to actually pick one, just because the price, and no matter what, his minutes don't waver. It's just mid-20s.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, his role is pretty secure. Misclicked Hawkins, but not intentionally, because we want to play this guy, right?
Yeah, I mean, the price is rising, but it's, for a good reason. He has been, he scored in college. He got drafted in the first round because his ability to score the basketball, and at times we saw it last year, and other times we saw it and he didn't look like he knew what he's doing. Yeah. But that's a lot of rookies in the NBA know, they just are trying to figure it out. We've heard it. I think Jared McCain said it, watching an interview. He's like, wow, this game is a lot faster than it was in college. Yeah, you are going from 300 plus Division I schools to the 300 best players in the NBA.
Right, and most of those guys in those schools don't have an NBA caliber player on it, right? Especially, for sure. Hawkins, 14th overall pick out of UConn. So again, really good school, almost a lottery pick there. Now the offense is, this team is going to be good. They get Trey Murphy back. They're going to have some real offensive firepower depending on which way they move that rotation around, coming off the bench for them. So I'm with you. Clarkson's there. Buddy Hield did get 28 minutes in that game. A lot of it kind of came at the end where they needed to kind of play some catch up. But without Steph Curry, they need scoring. He went 1 for 9 from 3. The bad shooting night came. But I think they're going to lean in on Buddy Hield here with some of these minutes.
Dude, 27% usage rate in a game he went 3 of 14. I mean, he's just been good for them. Yeah. We weren't sure what it was going to look like for the Warriors when they were in a competitive game because they just hadn't been.
Yeah.
And then they suffered 2 injuries. So it just made everything easier for oh, wait. And to be fair, Wiggins is questionable. So if Wiggins doesn't play, Buddy Hield might just straight up start this game. He just might be the starting whatever, right?
I'm gonna check and see if this is a front leg for Golden State here. Let's see. We got a Wednesday. Do we have Golden State on the Wednesday? So we do have Golden State on the Wednesday slate. So this is a front leg for the Pelicans. This is a front leg for the Warriors. Front leg for the Nets as well.
So the Warriors and the Pelicans play twice in New Orleans.
Okay.
They don't travel, which is interesting.
Yes, that is true. So front leg of back-to-backs against one another, and then the Nets are on a front leg.
So obviously that's some big news because we've seen Zion in the past, but he did, to Zion's credit, he played a lot of back-to-backs last year, and Claxton in that regard. Yeah. And that's why we're getting Simmons out Tuesday, right? Probably because the back-to-back, and we'll get maybe Claxton out Wednesday since he's only played it. We'll see. But it is interesting to see the Wiggins questionable tag. He didn't play the final. If you look at that game, he was taken out at the 32-second mark of the fourth quarter. So there was 32 seconds left in the game, and he didn't finish it. Lindy Waters played the last. So I don't know if the back strain happened those last 32 seconds, but
I remember watching. Obviously, I was sweating out the Buddy Hield fantasy points and then the James Harden fantasy points there, and I remember seeing Lindy Waters get subbed in, and I thought that was super strange.
With 30 seconds left, and Wiggins and no one else left the floor. I mean, the rest of the players for the Warriors closed, so I wonder if he pulled it.
Sure.
Because we were recording at the end of that game, so we didn't get to see it. But if there's no Wiggins, I mean, all signs point to Hield just
starting.
I mean, they would need his offense. So
he must kill Kerr knowing he's going to have to cut it down to a 9-man rotation.
No, he played Lindy Waters 30 seconds. Get him ready for next game.
That's fair. Christian Bronson, someone you've talked a lot about this season, as someone to watch here. $4,400. He is more than paying off the price tag. Again, overtime game tonight, but 6 of 11 shooting. giving you the peripheral numbers, at least a steal in every game, at least a block in every game. Rebounding has been there. So, again, first round pick a couple years ago for them, start stepping up and filling a scoring void they need.
Well, they thought he was going to be Bruce Brown last year. They just needed to wait one more year to be Bruce Brown. I mean, they got the same last name, just spelled differently, right?
Brown,
so, well, it's Brown. It's Brown. Yeah, it's Brown. It's Braun, like I think that's like a paper towel or
paper
something.
Towel, Bronny. Yeah.
He is not Bronny James. He is Christian Braun.
Got it. Christian Braun.
Yep. But I mean, I think the two things that we were just not sure about were the minutes. Obviously, he was starting, but like he had never played, and the scoring. Like good slasher, not really great shooter. Neither of those things have been a concern. 40 minutes and everything is just trended upwards.
Yeah.
And double-digit points in all three. So yeah, and his price went down $300.
Wish he was a better 3-point shooter given the league that we play in.
Correct. He's not. He's not.
What we talk a lot about guys who only shoot twos. If they don't hit twos, it takes them a while to catch the points up. But good to see him being efficient. And like I said, he's actually giving you peripheral stats, which is going to just help the bottom line there. Moses Motti could be a guy that starts in this lineup here. That's a joke for those of you who don't know. Check it out. Just Google. Kendrick Perkins trying to speak Moses Moody's name. Again, only 12 minutes in that game. But if there's no Wiggins, there's already no Curry, there's no Melton, I assume he has to play 20 minutes, right? Like minimum, I think. Maybe not. Could.
I'm not assuming. We didn't talk Wiggins. Also, 5,700 if he plays.
Oh yeah,
he's been good.
Yeah, he's been really, really good.
I mean, he had a weird, obviously, just this extremely weird season last year, and I know like they've talked about it. I think there was something to do with his father, and there was all that weird personal stuff that leaked on the internet that wasn't true, and it was like more family related than that. Not that that wasn't family related, but like direct, like parent related things. And I guess he returned out of shape and just like never was able to click. And he looks like he's in shape.
It takes some mental dedication to work out. Trust me, speaking from experience.
Yes,
it takes a lot to get up and want to do the work. Where are we with Zaire? He's been a super frustrating player, but the minutes have actually been rather consistent. There is no Ben Simmons. Like, do we think that there's a path to additional minutes for him in this offense with Simmons out?
I mean, potentially, but like we have not been able. They played Jalen Wilson 34 minutes. Then they benched him for defense. They played Shake Milton 17 minutes in game 2. I know Zaire's been like consistent, just mid-teens.
Yeah.
But like if Claxton just plays 30 or 28, he played 22 last game. If Claxton goes up to 28 minutes.
Claxton getting ejected probably killed us on where his ramp up was, right? Because he probably would have played like the 25 and been at 30 now. So
I mean, I like the Zaire production at his price because you'll be able to, if you wanted to get to Luka or if you wanted to get to Sabonis, and we'll talk about, or whoever, like spend ups, Zaire Williams is an obvious reason, like an obvious way to get
him and NAW are the same price. They're playing around the same minutes, but you've been getting more peripheral numbers, I guess, from Zaire. Like he's been a little bit better, but they're both kind of around the same range here. And there's nothing else that I would play.
I would play DDV. He finally like kind of shot the ball better. Of course, like the fewest minutes he's played, but he did shoot the ball better. And yeah, I mean, they interviewed Mike Conley. He actually talked about how he's been dealing with was it a wrist injury for the last like few years that he's gonna have to get surgery on when his playing career is over. But if that is like something that flares up, I mean, DiVincenzo is gonna take minutes away from him.
Yeah, you got these athletes playing with like loose bodies in their bone.
Yes, it seems good. Yes,
good. It's like I just got bone chip fragments floating around my body until I'm done playing. You're like, that doesn't make any sense. Small forward. We talked Ingram already. Laurie's at $8K, DDR's $7,900. A lot of guys with dual positional eligibility that we've discussed. Kuminga and Michael Porter Jr. are down here at 59 and 58. Kerr absolutely hates playing Jonathan Kuminga, but he may have no choice. May have no choice. Again, another guy that he finds reasons to not play and give contract extensions to. And then Michael Porter Jr., 39 minutes and had the rebounds again. Where's the points?
He can't score.
Yeah. And we say that as he should go 6 of 12, but like he's a better scorer than that. He's an 18-point per game guy. Like, what are we doing here?
I'm just looking up just to make us feel better about our Michael Porter prop, because we have spewed so much Michael Porter propaganda on these airwaves. So here's Michael Porter since 2019. That was his first year in the NBA. 42%. This is from 3. Okay. 42%, 45%, 41%, 40%. Those are the 4 years. One year lost completely to injuries. He played 9 games, so I'm just excluding that.
Sure.
I mean, dude, he's a 41% career 3-point shooter. Last year, 16.7 points per game. The year before, 17.4.
Yeah.
We're talking about an elite floor spacer shot. He's 6'10", and like when he shoots, he has a release point. He jumps higher than anybody else I've ever seen when shooting a basketball, which is crazy because he's 6'10".
Fire line drives at the hoop.
Dude, has a Dirk release point. And like Durant really like he's
we talked about
it.
Michael Porter Jr. has been one of our guys from day one. He's been one when he was before the back injury that he suffered at, was it Missouri? I think it was the college that he went to. He was being touted like as the next Kevin. Like he was supposed to be like a number 1, number 2 overall pick, like lottery guy with like Kevin Durant because he's a 6'10" like shooter, and then he hurt his back and he basically fell all the way out of the lottery, or still the first round, but like fell back in the draft, missed a lot of time with the back injury, and he was never able to like reach the overall heights of what many people projected him to be at. That said, still a 40% career 3-point shooter. That's like a 16-point per game average guy, and he's flirting with 10 rebounds a day. Like, it's going to come. It's going to happen. 39, 38 minutes, and all he can muster is 12 and 13 shots. Like, it's a little frustrating. $5,800 here. Like, he's a safe play, right? Like, you're getting 5x out of him. You need at 5,800 to 5x is 28.5 fantasy points. Like, you're getting that.
You know what's going to help him when the first couple shots start falling and Denver doesn't have to look at Jokic and be like, go get us 40 tonight. Because he did it again, and they literally needed him to get to 40 just to get to overtime.
The Raptors.
So, like, when they can finally look at Jokic and be like, dude, don't worry, you don't have to get 40, like, it's a win, right?
You know why they won this game was because Russell Westbrook took out Scotty Barnes.
Yes, he did.
Flagrant fouled him and sent him to the locker room, and that was the game. That was curtains for Scotty Barnes in that game.
Hey, Jokic was asking for Westbrook to be signed. He's used to having enforcers around him all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Couldn't get his brother signed to a contract, so he said, you know what, let's get Russell. Anyways, so listen, I like Michael Porter Jr. Again, I would be willing to go back because I think if nothing else, there's at least a baseline of production that we're getting out of him because those rebounds are there, and he's gonna hit 5 or 6 field goal attempts. Hopefully more of those become threes sooner rather than later.
And the minutes, and then like the most secure minutes that we've ever seen.
Yeah, they're down to like a 6-man rotation because they have no depth.
They are actually just playing Strother, kind of Westbrook, and that's it.
That is it. They don't even have a backup. DDR, as I mentioned, this can buy there at 79. It's a good price. I don't know. Back-to-back in Utah has been one of the tougher back-to-backs in the NBA for some time. So there is at least that to maybe consider.
Well, I mean, he's not on the floor. They're up 23 in the fourth.
Yeah, just resting him.
I mean, he's played 30. So he's played 30 minutes.
Okay.
But he's probably not going to play anymore.
Sure. Let's see. Monk's there. Herb Jones been not really good at all.
No.
Cam J 52.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been solid.
Yep. 20 3-point shots for Cam J. After that, You mentioned Gary Payton. I mean, Kerr does love him some Gary Payton. So
Loves him some Gary Payton. Still not like, even if he were to start, I still wouldn't know what the minutes would look like for Gary Payton. He is so injury prone. Every time that he gets extended, I feel like there's an injury. So I don't know. I probably, even if there's a start attached to his name, I'm not sure I can go there.
Yeah, he is.
But
he's not hurt now. If he is starting at 3,500, people are going to play to him because you can get a couple of steals, a block out of him as a guard. Like, even though he's a small forward, but
yeah, but even if he starts, I'm not convinced he. I mean, it's Steve Kerr. Jonathan Kuminga starts.
Yeah, that's true. All right, I got nothing else down here.
I got Zion.
Zion is 83 against Golden State here. Obviously, blowouts there against Portland, kept him to 28 minutes. Played 29 minutes in his debut, where they said he was going to be limited. So limit Zion is 30 minutes there. He had 49 fantasy points. In agreement with you on that one. Randle, $7,600 for him. Back-to-back 40 fantasy points. He's been good. He's been scoring, and he had that one good 3-point shooting day, so that kind of helps.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was, always in the cards for him to be their second scorer. I thought it was going to take a little bit longer than this to get like this acclimated. I mean, but y'all must have forgot he is and by y'all I mean me. He is a
good facilitator. And when we talked about it, we looked at that starting lineup. We're like, they don't have other offensive players on that starting lineup, so it's got to be a 2-man game with Anthony Edwards and Randle there until the bench guys come in. And even to that point, like DDV and Naz Reid are off to pretty slow starts. Reid had that good. Yeah, the one game.
Well, Naz had the one game.
Yeah, but for the most part, like even their bench scoring hasn't broken through yet. So you got that. You got Gordon, Draymond's there. Keegan Murray is someone that I was like iffy on. Had the great opening night, but like the minutes have been really obviously good for him, and so can't really argue $5,800 for him there. What are your thoughts on the rest of this group?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm a little bit just never like the Draymond stuff is just going to be because he's going to have like eventually.
Well, I'm saying I think from an assist standpoint with no Curry, this could be like an 8-assist game from Draymond.
He just like 27 minutes in a competitive game. That's the frustrating part. At $6,000, I mean that's just awful. At that point, I'm just taking a shot on Kuminga, just knowing that Kuminga, while he's out there for his 22 minutes, he's going to take going to take 20 shots. Keegan just plays big minutes, and he guards the opposing team's best player. So we're going to see him against Markkanen here, playing all the minutes he can possibly have. Dude, so many minutes. Yeah, there's nothing else. Like, I think per dollar, Randle's as good as it gets at this power forward position. Aaron Gordon finally had a monster game. Aaron Gordon does this every once in a while where he's just like, yeah, I'm really good at basketball. I just decided to be the fourth option on this championship winning team. So I know he's your arch nemesis, but I would anyone playing 40 minutes I'd at least give some looks at. I just can never get PJ Washington right. He had a monster game against Utah. He's terrible in the other two games. Naz Reid, 52. Kind of saw what happens when Naz Reid isn't like the electric factory that he was in Sacramento in that Toronto game, where they prefer going to Rudy close with Gobert. And to Gobert's credit, he's also been super good to start the year, and so has Randle. So it's like kind of. That's always the problem because they traded for a Towns replacement. There's always 3 bigs, and there's only 2 spots. They're not playing. They're not doing like the triple big lineup. So Naz at 52, he has a ceiling, but he really has.
I was gonna say the fact that he had like an average shooting game, they didn't have a reason for him to be on the floor. So, they just took him off. So $5,200.
And if they're winning, like Gobert's gonna be in for defense, right? And he is a difference maker.
Again, Dorian Finney-Smith's minutes are pretty secure. He is shooting a lot. Obviously, make or miss league. He missed them all against Milwaukee, so he had a bad night. No Ben Simmons. He's probably still locked into 25 to 30 minutes. In that rotation there. So if you want to play some Dorian Finney-Smith, he can rebound, he can get some defense. Like it is what it is here. Clowney, I think could be a little interesting here as well. No Ben Simmons, and if there is any level of limitation still on Nick Claxton, like more minutes could creep Clowney's way here.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. I was laughing with you, not at you, about wanting to.
I didn't hear you laugh, so that's okay.
Yeah, Clowney, first round pick from last year, is a pretty good fantasy point per minute player. Just hasn't necessarily had the opportunity yet to be fully extended, but was in that last game. 21 minutes is pretty good. I'm okay with it. 3-pointers in 21 minutes. I did not expect a lot. It's a lot of threes for a bench like player.
That. But again, this is when the NBA champions are going out there setting nightly records shooting threes. The whole league is like, all right,
sure,
everybody's chucking. So you got 8 3 attempts from Noah Clowney, which is honestly great from like a ceiling perspective, because if he goes 5 of 8, like you got 6 more fantasy points right there. So if he's willing to shoot like that, that's good. Again, I think there just could be a couple more minutes float his way. Other option in Golden State, do we get some more slow-mo out there? Right?
I know we have to play these guys, but what?
He played 4 minutes against the Clippers, but he played 19 and 15 the 2 games before that. I would assume with 2 guys out in Melton and Curry, and then maybe Wiggins, that Anderson finds himself back in the rotation.
They never went. He played the 3:46 in the second quarter, and they never went back to him. Decided against.
I fell asleep. Watch him play.
They played a lot of Looney in the second half. Obviously we talked about the Buddy Hield stuff. Zubac was eating them alive. Obviously, all the Podziemski. Kuminga played
20 minutes.
8 second half minutes. I mean, just looking at this is a nightmare. I mean, the only person that didn't step on the floor was Guy Santos for them. So, again, I know what you're saying. I know what you're asking. If Wiggins is out, then I will probably have more interest in the Warriors, but it's just hard for me to
it's really get excited about anything. So I wasn't axing one team on a 4-game slate is also
I know. I'm also not fully axing them, but those types of ancillary pieces that I just don't know.
Wiggins is probably going to be the highest roster player on the slate if he's active.
Yeah, and then if he's not, Buddy Hield will be. Yeah. Buddy Hield, shooting guard, small forward, 5,500. I mean, Buddy Hield might be anyway. Or Podziemski, 49 if he's starting, which we won't know because it's a 10
o'clock game. Kudos to DraftKings for giving us 2 on the slate.
Assume. Yeah, thank you. I mean, imagine just two game slates. That'd be a nightmare. But yeah, I mean, Podziemski, Hield, Wiggins. Just looking at it, I mean, I could see the Warriors just being popular in general. Even the Warriors looking at Kuminga's. People looking at Kuminga has to play tonight, right? He has to play 30 minutes because they need his scoring. We thought that to begin with, and it hasn't been the case. So, all those ancillary pieces for Golden State. If Wiggins is in, I mean, I don't know what slow-mo's.
Center, Nikola Jokic is good at basketball still. 44 minutes, 27 shots. He even he's knocking down threes because again, gotta.
Well, he said we all suck except
we're all average shooters.
Right? Said we, yeah. And then he decided, you know what? Actually, let me not be one. I'll just be good at it.
Back-to-back 40 actual for Nikola Jokic because he's that good. Probably will do the same here against Denver if he's not tired. Does he get tired? He probably doesn't get tired, right?
No, dude. No. He's the best out of shape. He is the best in shape, out of shape person I've ever seen. Dude, his conditioning should be studied in a lab.
Yeah, I agree.
It's crazy, no?
He doesn't look in shape.
Dude, it is crazy. Dude, if he is just always sprinting as fast as he can up the court.
Meanwhile, Anthony
like
Richardson's tapping out of games, because he's winded,
And then I see videos of him doing windmill dunks today on my timeline. I was like, oh.
All right, Jokic for sure at 11-3. Again, you mentioned Sabonis getting some rest on the front end here because of that blowout game. Always capable of putting up big numbers. You can play Zion here. You can play Randle here. Gobert, 7K.
They just went. They just went back to the starters. They're up just 13.
Came back 5 minutes ago.
Starters back on the floor. So Wade's
Sabonis is near a triple double here. 16, 11, and 7 at the moment here.
38 minutes. He's gonna, if they close this game, he's gonna
that,
38
that's
minutes.
Not good. That's not good.
Yeah.
Front end of a back-to-back, traveling into Utah again. Not a great back-to-back spot. Gobert, good minutes. Don't love the 2 shots here. You want to see more than that. Rebounds have been great. Sure. Blocks, obviously, the other night. Going to deal with Lively / Gafford. And 2 guys in Kyrie and Luka. They're just going to be driving into his chest for most of this game. So,
yeah, and calling out for switches like they did in that entire series where Luka made Gobert look super average.
Maybe it's an Osric game.
Not fair. Could be an Osric game. I mean, I truthfully, like, I know that was, I like Gobert at $7,000 if he's going to play the way that he's played, right? I mean, the rebounds have been great. You mentioned we need the shots. The minutes have been great, but 7K is interesting. And I could say the same thing for Claxton at 61. If Nick Claxton is going to get increased minutes without Ben Simmons, and it's like 26 minutes, I would be highly intrigued by Claxton. I understand the Jokic thing, but like sometimes that stuff is overstated. Like even in a game that Jokic went for 40, Jakob Poeltl played 40 minutes on Monday and had 16 and 19 against Jokic. Like that's not always, like, just because someone's great doesn't always mean foul trouble. Now, could definitely mean foul trouble because Claxton is handsy. He's also a great defensive player that could block a bunch of shots on Jokic. Even if Jokic gets a couple offensive rebounds and puts him back, like if Claxton's extended in the starting lineup at 6,100, that he is going to be 7K plus because he's realistically probably their best player two-way game. But if Claxton's extended, and we hear that from Jordy Fernandez again, I would be very, very intrigued there.
All right. Walker Kessler played 30 minutes tonight. Played 30 minutes in 2 of the 3. Didn't play much in that Golden State game. Rebounding, shot blocking, points. Got Sacramento. John Collins played 20 minutes off the bench. We'll see if anything changes in their rotation with the Hendricks injury there. But Collins seems pretty solidified as their backup big. So 54 for him. Mentioned Reed. Lively is down here. Any of these other value centers for you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I would love to know what Utah is going to do because they started Collins at the 4 last year, but just isn't seemingly in the cards, right? He's just like basically been operating as the backup center. Now him and Kessler, let's see, does that even out to, no, he's just literally playing the backup center. That's just the backup center. Yeah, I mean, Utah centers are fine, especially if Collins is starting alongside of him. Utah would be very, very interesting. Sacramento's been pretty bad defensively. Lively had a big game on Monday. You can go to Lively. I'm done with the Trace Jackson Davis stuff. Guy, I mean, just poor guy. Just can't. We'll start him. He just doesn't play. Gafford, you can always play, even if Lively's been playing better. You can always play him. And dude, I mean, Missy has been super productive. He is just so active defensively. It's insane. I mean, 2+ blocks in all 3 games, 2 steals last game, good rebounder who didn't
He's
even
the
grab a lot
perfect
last.
bench big that we like to play. He's our style of bench big. Get on the floor, cause mayhem, right?
Dude,
like
he is
just be everywhere at once. like,
dude. I mean, talk about like mayhem in general. Him and Herb Jones on the floor. I am so excited for more Misi, Herb Jones, Jose Alvarado lineups like this year. Like that is a nightmare for other teams. So yeah, I mean, he's 4,200 small slate. What would make anyone believe he's not going to play 20 plus minutes again?
right.
I mean, he's playing 20 minutes every game. He's been the better option between him and Tice. So, you know, I'm good with Misi at 4,200.
Yeah, and just like you mentioned, Tice minutes around the same. So like it's not like there's an edge for Tice. This is just the guy here. All right, let's try to figure out how to build, not knowing what's going to happen in Golden State. I say we build with the assumption that questionable players are in. So that means Wiggins is active for this game.
Agreed.
Which means we plug Wiggins into our lineup because he's been really good and there's no Curry. So Wiggins be one. What do we want to do?
Probably Pod. I mean, just not like Golden State's
well,
not.
Potter healed if you had to pick one.
I guess Buddy. Podziemski's but Buddy has the better eligibility, but I am encouraged by Podziemski playing the final 16 consecutive minutes. Like that's obviously
that's fair. That is fair. A little revenge game for Buddy Hield too. It's
revenge. Yeah, 12 years ago.
a little. I said a little, just a bit.
That's fair. You did say little. If we want, we could go Schroeder at point guard. He has been.
Yeah, I like
awesome.
the Schroeder call.
No Simmons. I mean, that's going to be.
I plugged Randle. I don't think he had too much of an objection there.
Nope, no objection.
I guess the question is, would you play with the 5 or the 4?
We could. I was just thinking that same combination.
Play Randle, then play Michael Porter, and pray you hit your shots, good sir.
This is gonna be a fair and balanced lineup where we don't get to Luka and feel so much pain when he goes for 80.
It goes nutty, yeah. I mean, if we did, it would be $39.50 a play.
Yeah, I don't think that exists unless we're playing some of this
4K play guard forward. We can make it work for
Zaire Williams at 3,300.
We got someone down here. Where's our cheap guy? We got a cheap guy down here somewhere, don't we? Gary Payton.
Get this. I do not co-sign Gary Payton. I am not co-signing. I'm Christian Brown, 44.
Yeah, Brown's good.
If you were gonna go to Gary Payton,
$3,700 forward
or guard, because Brown can play both.
Or guard, so basically util, 3,700 util. That's not a center. What's Alvarado been doing?
Nothing.
Moody.
The answer is Zaire Williams. You're the one who gave Zaire Williams all his flowers.
I did. That's true. It's true. If we wanted to go, Jokic.
33.
There you go. 48 Bron. Or DFS. Not Bron.
Still Brown, but all good.
Bron. Do you do the Luka comeback play there, or do you play just the machine?
I would prefer. I mean, at this point, I would rather Jokic. Honestly, though, like if you're not going to Jokic, you just probably play like Ant, who's one of only a handful of teams not on a back-to-back, so we don't have to play Christian Brown, or like you play.
I don't mind Christian Brown, but
Zaire. Sorry.
Play like Hawkins here.
You can still technically play 6,100 guard or forward in that spot.
10-1
or anybody. You could just play util and just
play Anthony Edwards.
Claxton.
Would you rather Brown or Hawkins if you had to pick one?
I mean, the scoring upside is definitely in Hawkins' favor, but the minutes upside is definitely in Christian Brown's.
If we don't think it's a Randall day or a Gobert day, we can go
Yeah, I mean, obviously we saw what happened in the postseason.
Yeah.
Can't predict that being in the regular season, but it did just happen. It's very fresh on our minds from the Western Conference Finals last year.
I'm sure it'll be very fresh in the minds of Minnesota and Dallas as well. So.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, we'll do this then for now. Again, just an example lineup. We'll be back live at 5. We'll do it all over again. Hopefully, we'll have news on injuries. We can make better decisions here. But Schroeder, Wiggins, Hield, Porter, Randle, Hawkins, Reed, and Edwards. So we are 3 stacking Minnesota, 2 stacking Golden State here as part of this lineup. So again, I'll be on the playbook. Be on the lookout for that. Get us in the Discord. Follow us over on Twitter. Sign up for the 7-day free trial and get access to our premium Discord and playbook content as well. James and I will be back later. Till then, everybody, we'll catch you next time.